In the unpredictable universe of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, rules are etched in the cave's canvas until they're not. Join us as we unravel the top 10 instances where the UFC, under the watchful eye of President Dana White, broke its own rules. Welcome to the MMA Mayhem. Subscribe and let's dive in. From headlining after failed drug tests to unexpected media exemptions for stars like Conor McGregor, the Octagon's rulebook reveals surprising plot twists that keeps fans guessing. Brace yourself for a rollercoaster ride through UFC history, where the only constant is the sport's ability to defy its own conventions. Welcome to the Cage's enigmatic rulebook. 1. Seats taken. Breaking gender barriers. Imagine this scenario: Dana White, the UFC's top dog, vehemently declaring, "When are we going to see women in the UFC? Never." Fast forward a mere couple of months and behold, the iconic Tate vs Rousey fight emerges, proving to be a pivotal moment that forces Dana to reevaluate his stance on women's MMA. This transformative moment not only shattered the gender barrier but also highlighted the UFC's ability to swiftly adjust its position when confronted with the undeniable prowess of women in the octagon. It's a testament to the ever-evolving nature of the sport and the UFC's responsiveness to its dynamic landscape. 2. Super-duper bad behavior. If there's one aspect the UFC has consistently treated with gravity, it's post-fight antics. Think back to the days of Paul Daly throwing a punch after the bell. Dana White's reaction was unequivocal: he'll never come back here again. Now fast forward to the infamous UFC 229, where the post-fight brawl involving Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov left Dana White visibly appalled. However, times have evolved, and despite the Athletic Commission imposing fines, the UFC didn't rigorously enforce its own rule. It appears that the big-name stars might have a bit of leeway when it comes to bending the rules. 3. Fake title splits, making matches on the fly. "We don't make fights on the night of the fight," says Dana White. Yet we've seen instances where title scenarios seem to materialize out of thin air. From Glover vs Jamal Hill in Brazil to Leon Edwards vs Kamaru Usman, these matchups were made on the spot, breaking Dana's own rule. It raises the question: does the UFC bend its rules when it suits the narrative and keeps the fans on the edge of their seats? 4. How to lose your job or not. In the realm of the corporate arena, personal scandals often serve as a fast track to job termination. The guidelines are clear, and swift action is expected. However, when we shift our gaze to the dynamic world of the UFC, the landscape appears less cut and dried. Dana White, the outspoken face of the UFC, has never shied away from severing ties with fighters due to personal conduct issues. Yet a curious asymmetry emerges when scrutinizing the fate of UFC staff. The question that lingers is whether a distinct rulebook exists for fighters in the octagon compared to the higher echelons of the UFC. 5. No gimmicks, except when we do. While Dana White has proudly declared the UFC's aversion to freak show fights, a stroll down memory lane reveals a different narrative. Instances like Tank Abbott's surprising return to the octagon after a decade-long hiatus, and the unforgettable collision between James Toney and Randy Couture demonstrate the UFC's occasional embrace of spectacle. These deviations from the norm underscore the promotion's agility in catering to fans' desires, even if it entails bending or breaking their own established rules. It's a testament to the UFC's commitment to providing the excitement and entertainment that fans crave. 6. Headlining after a failed drug test. Imagine this: Dana White declares that a fighter who fails a drug test will never headline a UFC card again. Enter John Jones, whose tumultuous relationship with performance-enhancing substances is well documented. Despite White's bold proclamation, after Jones' failed drug test before UFC 200, we quickly learned that rules can be flexible. Jones not only headlined subsequent events, but also managed to do so after another drug test debacle at UFC 232, prompting a move from Nevada to California. It seems drug test failures aren't always a deal breaker in the UFC. 7. Media obligations, except for Conor McGregor. In the vast realm of UFC regulations, there's one notable exception to Dana White's rulebook: the charismatic Irish sensation Conor McGregor. White's firm stance on fighters participating in media events was put to the test when McGregor, renowned for playing by his own set of rules, refused media obligations ahead of UFC 200. In an unexpected move, Dana enforced his rulebook by promptly removing the Irish star from the card. This incident shed light on the UFC's commitment to its regulations, even when it concerns their biggest stars. McGregor's ability to chart his own course in the media engagement landscape showcases the unique dynamic between the UFC and its megastar. While exceptions may arise, this episode highlights the UFC's dedication to maintaining the integrity of its rulebook, even in the face of its most prominent figures. Breaking the "don't approach referees" rule. Dana White laid down a firm decree regarding approaching judges or referees. Cross that line and you're out. Yet when UFC commentator and ex-fighter Dan Hardy raised valid concerns about a hesitant referee in the pandemic-era bout between Francisco Trinaldo and Jai Herbert, Dana's response took an unforeseen turn. Despite Hardy staying in his booth and merely advocating for fighter safety, Dana's reaction showcased a contradictory stance, leaving fans puzzled and questioning for the consistency of the rules. 9. Not headlining again unless you do. In the intricate tapestry of UFC regulations, Dana White's pronouncement that fighters withdrawing from main events under dubious circumstances would never highlight again stands out. The case in point, Amanda Nunes, who fell ill on the day of UFC 213, prompting the cancellation of her highly anticipated bout with Valentina Shevchenko. In response, Dana asserted that Nunes wouldn't headline again, a statement that unraveled when just 2 months later, Nunes found herself in the coveted main event spotlight. A similar narrative unfolded with Jon Jones, entangled in drug test controversies yet resurfacing as a headlining figure. This paradox underscores the fluidity of circumstances and the undeniable influence of star power in shaping the UFC's ever-evolving narrative. 10. Don't stop the referees unless you're Dana White. In the realm of UFC, where stopping fights is a cardinal rule, Dana White's intriguing stance adds a layer of complexity. While publicly declaring that approaching referees is a fireable offense, Dana found himself at the center of a contradiction when a clip surfaced. The clip showcased Dana vehemently screaming at a referee for not halting a fight promptly, showcasing an apparent disregard for his own rulebook. The incident unfolded during a pandemic-era fight where Herb Dean exhibited hesitation, prompting Dana to express disappointment in a referee's performance. This paradoxical situation hints at the nuanced nature of decision-making in the UFC, revealing that even the president himself may succumb to bending the rules in the heat of the moment. Within the UFC, Dana White's rulebook, touted as the gospel, occasionally transforms into a flexible guideline, bending to the unpredictable nature of the sport. From navigating drug test controversies to managing media obligations, White's willingness to make exceptions unveils the intricate dynamics of overseeing a premier mixed martial arts organization. This adaptability, while surprising to fighters and fans, mirrors the evolving landscape of the UFC. As the sport continues to redefine its boundaries and push new limits, one can only speculate on which rules will be broken or rewritten next. In this ever unpredictable arena, Dana White's rulebook stands as a testament to the delicate balance between maintaining order and embracing the dynamic nature of the UFC. Thank you for watching. Follow for more.